Good afternoon to all. We are now starting the next topic, that is nothing but the Turing machine. So, a very important concept from the theory of computation is nothing but the Turing machine. And as it is said that it is the most powerful machine as compared to your finite automata, your push down automata, your post machines. This Turing machine is the most powerful, or it is also called as your, it is the mathematical, it represents the mathematical model of your computers, right? So in the Turing machine, in this particular unit, we are going to see the definition, the recursive and non-recursive and the recursively enumerable languages, the design of Turing machine. So it is asked to design Turing machine just like your design the push down automata PDA or design the finite automata. The different types of the Turing machines, that is multi-step Turing machine, UTM, that is universal Turing machines, that also we are going to discuss, and comparisons with all the automata that we are going to see in this particular unit. So be focus on your slides here. So we have already studied the concept of regular languages and context-free languages and their association with the finite automata and the push-down automata or the push-down acceptor. That means regular languages recognized by your finite automata, whereas the context-free languages are recognized by your push-down automata. That already we have discussed. So, as discussed, finite automata can remember only their current state. That is, they have limited memory available. Therefore, they are useful for the devices that have limited amount of memory, only limited amount of memory. As already we have discussed, suppose a finite automata is there, state q0 and q1. If we draw this particular thing, so limited number of memory is available, so we cannot remember the more states in case of your finite automata, or right. And push down automata on the other hand are more powerful than finite automata because of its greater storage capacity. Means in pull down automata, the it is nothing but your finite automata with the stack. The stack is given, the memory is given in the form of stack. We are pushing the items in the stack and the items are being popped from the stack, right? So that gives more power, that gives more strength to your pull down automata as compared to the finite automata. However, it can access memory in only one direction. So it has some limitations or it has some restrictions. So what is the restriction? So restriction is that only from the top of the stack, the elements are to be it are to be push, or they are to be pop from only one side. That is nothing but the top of the stack. Even though finite state automata and the push down automata are very useful models of computation, they are not capable of recognizing even very simple language such as a raised to n, b raised to n, c raised to n, where n greater equal to 0 or n always greater than 0. So we said that yes, yeah, finite state automata or the finite automata or your PDA, FA or your PDA, yes, they are very useful models of computation. But for very simple languages, means if the question comes like this, describe the language or define a language, or whether your automata accept the strings pertaining to the language a raised to n dot b raised to n dot c raised to n, where n is greater than 0. So your PDA fails there, or your finite automata fails there. So neither finite automata, neither PDA can regarded as a truly general models for computers. So we cannot say that the FA or PDA, they are the general models for the computers. So there is a widely accepted general model of computation. It is called as a Turing machine. It is called as the Turing machine that can perform a large variety of computation. So see here, that can perform a variety of computations. See, focus the word of computation. Computation means actual calculations are being done by your Turing machine. So powers of various machine, if we compare the powers, if you compare the strengths of the automata which we discussed so far, so you have the finite automata, then you have the deterministic pull down automata, non-deterministic pull down automata, the post machine, and finally you have the Turing machine is the most powerful one. It is the most powerful one because the finite automata has the very limited amount of power. It has no memory, and the number of states are limited number of states are there. That's why the memory restrictions are there, or we can say no memory at all. Then then comes the concept of their push down automata, PDA, deterministic as well as the non-deterministic PDA, right? So FA, it may be your DFA or it may be your NFA, it may be any kind of your automata. In case of DPDA is more powerful as compared to your finite automata, and NPDA is more powerful as compared to your DPDA as well as your finite automata, right? And in PDA we are using the stack as a data structure to as a auxiliary memory or as the memory to store the item, push as well as the pop operation we are using here. Now the post machines are there. So post machine uses the queue. They are uses the queue, or it is also called as the queue automata. It is also called as the queue automata. So strength wise, we can say that the post machine is the more stronger as compared to NPDA and more stronger than DPDA and finite automata. Finite automata is the least stronger, whereas now comes toward the Turing machine, the most powerful machine in the automata theory. So TM is an abstract model, so it is defined. So this is nothing but the definition. You have to remember the definition of the Turing machine. It is an abstract model of a general purpose computer, means the computers which you are using nowadays. It is the abstract model. Turing machine is the abstract model of the computers actually, right? So it was first proposed by an English mathematician, and the name of the mathematician he was Alan Turing. So in 1936, this model or this one can say that it was proposed, right? And is therefore it is known as the Turing machine by his name. It is known as a Turing machine, right? This is a very powerful machine that can not only recognize language but also compute the functions. So see here. So automata we have used so far. Automata, that is nothing but your finite automata used to recognize the language. Then your push down automata used to recognize the language, as well as your one can say your push down automata, NPDA, DPDA. They are one can say that the language acceptors are there, right, using different stacks as well as the queue post machines, right? But here we have to focus on that this Turing machine as well as the language recognition, as well as the language recognition, it is also useful for computation of functions. Computation of functions means actual calculation, it is being performed by your Turing machines. So TM is capable of performing any calculation that can be performed by a real computer. The point to be remembered as Turing machine is capable of performing any calculation that can be performed by real computers itself. Turing assumed that while computing, a general person writes a symbol on a one-dimensional paper, which can be viewed as a tape divided into cells. The logic which he had applied is that he assumed that while computing, a person writes a symbol on a one-dimensional paper. For example, if I want to add two numbers, so I take a paper and just write 2 plus 3 equal to 2 plus 3 equal to whatever it may be the addition. So assume that this is a single direction, so one-dimensional paper on a single dimensional or one-dimensional paper. It is viewed as a tape and it is divided into number of cells. So I can have this is one cell, plus is another cell, and 3 is another cell, and equal to is another cell, and output whatever is the output is the next cell, right? So this tape extends indefinitely in both directions. So you can extend in the right hand side direction, as well as this tape it can be extended in the left hand side direction also, therefore capable of holding an unlimited amount of information, because it has no limit. On the left hand side you can increase on the, you go on increasing on the left hand side, as well as you can go on increasing on the right hand side. So there is unlimited memory. So that is the concept actually. It has available unlimited amount of memory, unlimited one can say that unlimited information can be stored using with the help of this Turing machine. So tape can be visualized as a single one-dimensional array of cell. So tape means this is nothing but for example, we assume it is nothing but a tape. It is a single one-dimensional, no two dimensionals are available of cell, each of which can hold a single symbol. So I can have AB, AB, AB. Each cell holds a single symbol. So one scans the cell one at a time and usually performs one of the three simple operations. So which operations are to be performed on this particular input cell? So we assume this is nothing but my input cell. So our input string one can say it is in the form of input tape. Now input string. So rather than calling it as a input string, we are calling it as a input tape. Input tape. Why? Because the input is in the form of it is there in the form of cells, right? So what we do here? So write a new symbol in the cell being currently scanned. So we can able to write the new symbol. We can able to move the cell left of the present cell. Suppose if the current machine reads the current symbol is A, so the machine can move, or the automata can move in the left hand direction, or it can move in the right hand side direction, or it can move in the right hand side direction. This is also possible in this case, right? So with this observation in mind, Turing proposed this. So this is nothing but actually the logic. This is nothing but the logic which he thought of, the scientist, English scientist, that is Turing, and he assumed that yes, the automata based on this particular concept, based on this particular logic, can be developed, and he developed such a machine, and it is named as a Turing machine. So let us see the details. So this is nothing but the diagram of your, one can say, the general architecture of the Turing machine. So a tape of infinite length. So you can have this B x1, x2, 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 dot, anything. So dot, you can have the extend on the right hand direction, as well as you can have extend on the left hand side direction, right? And finite control means this is nothing but your read write head. This is called as a read write head, and these are nothing but the tape symbol. This is the tape symbol B, x1, x2, dot, 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 x2, x2b. All these are the tape symbol. Means your input string, you can now it is divided into the different tape symbol. It is called as the tape symbol. And there is a symbol B at the start of your input string and at the end of your input string. B stands for blank, or we can also use the capital delta as the end of your string. It is called as your EOF. That is nothing but end of EOS. That is end of the string, right? And the finite control, it read. So from this read write head, it reads the input, or as well as it write the input in the tape itself. It is possible. That is called, that's why it is called as a read write head. So each cell can store only one symbol. The input to and the output from the finite state automata on are affected by a read write head, which can examine one cell at a time. In one move, the machine examines the machine examines the present symbol under read write head on the tape and the present state of an automata to determine. So what in one move, which are the three factors that are being changed here? So see here, though a new symbol to be written, suppose on this particular input tape, one move is being made. So from this state, the state changes to the next one. So which are the changes occur here? So new symbol to be written on the tape in the cell under read write head. So on this particular cell, whether to read this symbol or to write into that particular cell, that is decided. Then a motion of the read write head along with the tape, either head moves one cell left or one cell right. So whether this read write head to be moved in the right direction or to be moved in the left direction, that is decided, right? And the next state of the automata. So initially, if it is a Q0 state, now it is a Q1 state, or it remains on the Q0 state, that is decided. So three operations are performed. So these are, in simple word, we can say that the operations of your Turing machines. These are the operations of Turing machines. So see it carefully. In one move, Turing machine moves its head cell by cell. Initially, it is at this particular cell number 1. It moved to cell number 2, cell number 3. So which are the changes occurred here? So see the changes. The machine examines the present symbol, input symbol under the read write head on the tape and the present state of the automata to determine. So which are the factors to determine here? So these are the three factors. So first, it determines a new symbol to be written on the tape in the new cell. In the new cell, it will move to this particular cell. So new symbol. So whether new symbol is to be read here, or new symbol is, suppose here is A, small a, and B. This B is to be read, or this B is to be write. New B is to be write in the cell. This first decision is to be taken here. The second decision is nothing but whether to move the head either in the left direction or in the right direction is the second decision, and the third decision is nothing but state change. state change. Initially, if it is a Q0, then you have to change it to Q1 or it to Q2 or remain the same state, that is Q0 equal to Q0. Getting this point? So these are actually the basic operations. These are the basic operations performed by your automata. So what is the difference? So in case of the push down automata, we are pushing, suppose input string is there, suppose ABVA, suppose this is the string. So all these input string, we are scanning the input string in the left to right direction, and we are go on pushing the element in the stack. And as soon as we got the corresponding B, for example, we are going to pop the element. So there are push and pop operation. But here you have this particular infinite tape plays an important role. You have the infinite tape plays an important role. There is no requirement of stack. There is no requirement of any queue. So the tape and your read write head, they plays an important role. So initially they are going to read A. So next symbol is B. So head changes its location from this cell to next cell. Then so where to move, that is the first decision. Either it will move to right side or the left side. Then the next symbol which is to be read here, and what exactly is the state changes, whether it is from Q0 to Q1, which are the state changes are there, that is to be determined in a single move of a Turing machine. Remember this point. These are the three factors to be determined, to be analyzed, or to be remembered in a single move of a Turing machine. Getting this point? So let us see. So whether or not to halt, and fourth one is that whether the machine. So TM halt, already we have discussed the halting problem of the Turing machine. So whether halt or not, that is also decided at that particular time. So these are the four factors to be decided in a single move. Now these are the applications of the Turing machines. Here carefully, Turing machines are useful in several ways. As an automata, the Turing is the most general model. It is a very general purpose model and not a special purpose model. It accepts the type 0 languages. Already we have seen the Chomsky hierarchy. In the Chomsky hierarchy, you have the type 3 language or the type 3 grammar. You have the type 2 grammar, type 1 grammar, and type 0 grammar or the type 0 languages. So type 2 means your regular grammar, or it is called as a regular language, right? Type 2 is nothing but your CFG and CFL, context-free grammar and context-free languages. Type 1 is nothing but your context-sensitive grammar, CSG, and context-sensitive CSL, context-sensitive languages. Whereas type 0 is nothing but your unrestricted UG, unrestricted grammar, and the language is nothing but which is the language here. So this language is any language, it can determine type 0 languages. Getting this point? So you can have the regular language, the context free languages, context sensitive languages. So all other languages generated by unrestricted grammar, they are recognized by your Turing machine itself. They are recognized by the Turing machines. So in the first case, you require your finite automata. In the second case, you require your pull down automata. In the type 1, you may have the NPDA, or you may have the some different kind of automata, and type 0, you have the Turing machines required, right? So it can be used. So along with the language recognition, recognition of language means a string is given A B B, means it is nothing but A raised to n, B raised to n. So this language is recognized, yes or no. This language is being recognized by the Turing machine, yes. So Turing machine perform this particular task correctly. Along with this, Turing machine is also used for a computing function. It is also used for the computing functions. So it turns out to be a mathematical model of a partial recursive function. So Turing machines are also used for determining the undecidability. It is also used for determining the undecidability of certain languages and measuring the space and time complexity. That is nothing but the big O notation, then omega notation, and theta notation. Already that is nothing but to measure the time complexity of the problems or the algorithms, right? So these are the various applications where the Turing machine is being used. Let us go to the next one. That is let us see the definition of Turing machine. The important concept, how the Turing machine is defined. It is defined with a 7-tuple Q. sigma tau, this is nothing but your tau symbol, sigma is nothing but your sigma delta q0, capital delta or capital B and F. So let us see the significance. Capital Q, finite set of states, sigma is nothing but the finite set of input alphabet, then you have the tau is nothing but just like in your PDA, this tau is nothing but one can say the stack symbol, but here these are nothing but your finite set of tape states. These are nothing but the finite set of tape states. Then you can use capital delta or you can use the B, capital B, means either these are allowed a blank symbol at the end of the input. Suppose input is AB, BA. If this is the string, so I can either have delta, capital delta. So why this delta? So AB, BA is also and capital B is also there. So sometime we may refer this capital B or we may refer. So if I use capital B here and we are using the same this ABBA string, so there may be confusion in some cases. So to avoid the confusion, we may use the capital delta at the end of the string or capital B. So at the start as well as at the end, you can have this B, capital B or capital delta. Remember this point. Q0 is the initial state and F is the final state, and the important remaining is nothing but the delta transitions. Transition function in the Turing machine, it is defined as, see carefully, Q into tau. Q into tau means Q into tape states gives you Q into tau into LRH. LRH means whether it will move to the left, it will move to the right, and okay, so it will halt. H stands for HALT. It is nothing but the halt. So whether current input state, suppose Q0 into tape symbol into tape state gives you the next state, suppose Q1, and the next tape symbol, or it is nothing but the next tape state, and either you will move to the left side or either the read write head move to the right hand side, or either the machine enters into the halt state. So these factors are depends upon this particular present state and the present tape state. Remember this point. So Q, so I can write here Q into tau in the Turing machine. I will get here Q into tau into either I will move to the left hand side. So this is okay, or Q into tau into H means either it will move in the right hand side, and Q into tau into H means the machine enters into the halt state, machine stop its execution, right? So this is the way. So LRH represents left, right, and halt or no movement of the read write head. For example, D delta Q0 comma A, that is equal to Q1 comma B comma R, that is when TM in state Q0, Turing machine is in state Q0, and scanning a input symbol on input tape, it is A, the machine will enter in the state Q1, the next state will be the Q1, and it will rewrite the symbol on tape A as a B, meaning instead of A, we are now putting a small b, and it will move in the right cell direction, or it will move in the right hand side direction. Getting this point? So the function, delta transition function, that is nothing but this is Q into tau, that is equal to Q into tau into right. So this is nothing but our transition function. This is nothing but the actual transition function, right? So see here, the acceptability of a string is decided by reachability from the initial state to some final state. So acceptability of a string means if we want to find out whether this particular string AB, 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 whether this string is been accepted by the Turing machine or not. So for in that case, this particular Turing machine must reach to the final state. Must reach to the final state means it will either reach to this capital delta or D. If it read this thing and read all the characters in the string and it reach to the final state or the delta, capital delta. The final state are also called as the accepting state as in usual automata. So instantaneous description, how to describe the Turing machine in an instantaneous way, it is very similar to that of your push down automata, PDA. So we have already discussed the concept of ID, instantaneous description, while studying in PDA. So in case of PDA, only the current string to be processed is considered. Current string to be processed is considered as the information in the tape cells are already scanned do not play any role in the deciding its future move. So, but it will not decide that whether to move left or right, because there is no any concern about the left and right hand direction. But in this case, a Turing machine, it will decide whether to move in the right or whether to move in the left direction. However, in case of Turing machine, the complete string is considered because the read-write head of the tape can move in the both directions. So that's why it is very important. The your RW head, it will move in this direction or it will move in this direction. Either it will move to the left or it will move to the right hand side direction. Getting this point? So ID provides only a finite amount of information, or instantaneous description provides the finite amount of information to the left and the to the right and the left of the read write head. For example, delta q0 comma a, that is equal to q1 comma capital A comma capital L. So read the description like this: currently reading input symbol A and the current state is Q0. Then machine go to state by replacing A, small a by capital A. So this A is being replaced by the new A. Okay, so power failure is here. That's why the PPTs are not visible right now. So I think we have to stop here, and as soon as the power continue, we will continue our lecture, right? So now you can leave the meeting.